But Kanye is directly in the news. He is running for freaking president. It is topical to talk about, like, pushback. What do you mean on this? What is about this? What do you want to do this? And so it was just a hot mess. I was living for it until it was like gone. Tim Pool's the type of person that doesn't wear a suit at the White House. You know, he don't care about like who he's talking to. So likewise, another ego, matching ego, right? Like Kanye West. So like, do you know who you're talking to? And Tim Pool, like, I don't care who I'm talking to. Let's have a conversation. Oh, gosh, this is, I'm just frustrated, right? I'm just frustrated because we just lost a great opportunity here. Hey yo, what's up guys? So I'm coming to you another video. We are talking about TIMCAST IRL, what should have been the biggest internet moment of history. One of the biggest moments with like TIMCAST IRL, Kanye West, Nick Fuentes, and Milo Yiannopoulos. Oh my goodness. Which obviously this lasted only like 20 minutes because Kanye West had to storm off. And so we're gonna watch a little bit and talk about it. And so with that said, shall we begin? But first, of course, if you're new to my channel, what is up? My name is Mitch, Maverick Mitch. Hey Mitch, all the Mitches are call signed on, and pretty much I like talking about what I like talking about. So, current events, reviews, pop culture, social political commentary, be sure to check out all those videos as you're finishing this video. And of course, please like, share, and subscribe as it feeds the algorithm. So with that said, let's just get into it.
We have Ye himself. Would you like to introduce yourself, good sir?
You did it.
There you go. I think everybody knows who you are. And which of you gentlemen would like to introduce yourself?
Nicholas, please.
Hi, yeah, I'm Nick Fuentes. First time here on the TIMCAST. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. What do you do?
Oh, I'm a live streamer. I do a show called America First on Cozy.tv.
All right. And of course, Milo, you were here a couple weeks ago.
Yes, I'm your best ever guest.
So we've been told that the episode with you was one of the best podcasts ever. People really enjoyed hearing you speak.
I think that's accurate.
Okay.
Yeah. Well,
thanks for coming back.
Thanks. I was wondering how I was going to make it even more extraordinary the second time I visited, but I think I might have pulled it off.
Luke's here.
Total sausage fest.
Alright, so let's just like, I'm so saddened in that, you know, all of this could have been really, really awesome, and we only got like a little about it, and that's the part that sucks, right? And so I'm gonna like I'm not gonna play the whole thing. Of course, you can watch it. I'll link it below, and all that stuff. But a few thoughts with Ye. We're gonna look into it, but he was all over the place. I know people are gonna say this is all Tim's fault. He lost it. He blew it, and all that stuff. Like I even watched Elijah Schaffer talk about it. Like you're having one of the most like powerful billionaires being Kanye, and then you kind of screwed it up. Didn't let him talk, and I'll go into it. I think Tim did fine. You know, I think there's a lot of different expectations here, right? You know. We'll get into it, right? And so I think Kanye had his own expectations, and ultimately Tim had his own expectations, because I'm on Tim's side on this in this instance, in which it's supposed to be a conversation versus Kanye having a soapbox, you know, type thing. And I think Kanye, because of the ego, because of what he's going through, and he's been going through a lot, he was very defensive getting into the like conversation later down the line. Jumping real quick on Milo, not too much caring about Milo, right? I mean, he's not a bad character in a sense that, you know, he does what he does. He's Milo, and that's fine. As far as Nick Fuentes, I'm not too heavily in the know about him. I know people talk about him as being a white supremacist or whatever, white nationalist or whatever. I seen him on Elijah Schaffer show actually, and so the only things that I get from him, and the only thing that he was to me was very quote unquote controversial, is that if I am characterizing him correctly, right, that he doesn't believe in interracial marriage, or at least the ideal is you folks should be going for their particular ethnicities, right? Like if you're Filipino, go for Filipinos. If you're black, go for black. White, Latino, right? And so it's kind of funny because I know everyone's brought up like being a Fuentes, like you're not legit all white, you know? And so and he says that, but I think people are mischaracterizing, and again, maybe I am just being very genuine in a sense that his idea is just you should create families of like-minded cultures, right? And if like a Filipino and a Latino, I think that's a little bit closer in culture than I would say, I don't know, a Filipino and Norwegian. I don't know. I'm just naming it out there. So when it comes to Fuentes, I'm just a little bit cautious. Like if he's a bad dude, he's a bad dude. Obviously, like, I like that he's Catholic, but he can be a bad Catholic, in a sense, like, bad person, just living, he was just spouting out Catholic, doctrine, right, and dogma, right, but anyway, the point being, like, is people, especially in this industry, where you're left or right, you're readily demonizing people just because you may think they're toxic, or they're nuclear, or whatever, and they do it the same thing with Kanye, right? These are all people that were canceled, right? And so I want to hear what they got to say, and I want to hear what I disagree with, and like, hey, this is what I disagree with, this is what I agree with, and there could be nuance, right? And so, fast forward.
Here's
That's the lobotomy threat, you know?
Yeah.
Before the show, obviously, I'm getting a bunch of messages from people. People are hitting me up, and they're like, you shouldn't host them. They're anti-Semitic, they're white supremacists, they're racist. I do find the idea, I do find it funny or weird, whatever, that, you know, Nick, they call you a white supremacist, you're here working with or for, you know, one of the most powerful black men, one of the wealthiest and most famous. But a lot of people were saying, on the right specifically, don't platform them. And I said, well, I want to understand what they're thinking and why they're thinking it. They're involved in what may be the biggest news story of the past week, and we have an opportunity to sit down and talk.
Because the red media controls both sides. It just said it as simple as possible. Jared Kushner was next to Trump. Rahm Emanuel was next to Obama.
But see,
since 1940, go ahead.
I was going to say, isn't that...
So I'm gonna pause here now. I'm jumping all over the place. I wanted to get to a point where Kanye talks about, like, he thinks about seven different things at the once and try to think of 7 different solutions. To me, already I think he's unfocused, right? I think he's really smart when it comes to certain things and when he is focused, but I think he is coming into this discussion, dialogue, interview, whatever, in defense mode. And so, because there's one instance where he goes back to Tim, like, I'm not asking about your opinion. I like your opinion about politics, but I'm not asking your opinion on something. So it was already coming off as defensive, and I can't find, I should have marked it where it was. So we're gonna jump around and try to find it. But and again, you can look at in below. But I think there's another thing here that, like, I mentioned it on Twitter and everything, that there is different expectations, right? I don't think Kanye watches TIMCAST IRL on the regular. And I think that is the problem. Because for Tim, normally, like, even if it's Carrie Lake, MTG, Alex Jones, Michael Malice, whoever, it's a conversation. I think the only time that he actually let the guest speak, and this is good and bad, was Milo. And he, even in this episode, later on, Tim says, like, I only let Milo speak as much as he did is because he hasn't had spoken in a while, versus Kanye, which is in the news right now. He was in the news having a dinner with Trump. It is topical, like, and I agree with that. Like, let's get into that before we get into all of the other stuff, you know, all the other cancelization stuff. And so, and again, I think Kanye came into this as, no one's listening to me, no one, like, you're gonna cancel me, you're doing this, let me talk, and that's not the format of TIMCAST IRL. You can do that on whatever, Joe Rogan or whoever, but, like, that's not how this is gonna work. And I think when it comes down to it, like I said, Kanye does not listen, does not watch TIMCAST IRL. Like, I'm sure Milo said, like, this would be a good opportunity and everything, and like, you come to the show, it'll be great, it'll make headlines, internet sensation, and part of that is true, right? But I don't think Kanye knew what was going on here. Like, and I understand, like, a person like Elijah Schaefer's point, like, this is a billionaire dude, like, how are you gonna treat Kanye like this? But the point of that, what makes TIMCAST IRL is to have a everyday conversation. Let's just talk about it, versus here's an interview, here's the talking points, here's your platform, and that what should not work. And what kills me is obviously we didn't get the bigger conversation here, but what kills me is like, okay, for someone like Kanye, and he's gonna get into it, he's like one of the most cancelable people in the America, right? but you don't, and he's trying to run for president, but this does not look good. Like him storming off stage and storming off set is not good. Maybe it'll look good on the headlines, but if you're trying to reach the normal people, and let's put it out there, like Tim is more, even with all his money, is one of the more regular people. Joe Rogan is still with a lot of money, is still with a regular people versus a Kanye, which is already up there. I'm not saying that he probably has seen a lot of things in the music industry. I was gonna do a segment on Balenciaga and all of that mess, right? And all of that, what's going on there, and I'm sure he's seen it all, right? But there's a lot of things that are actually going on. Like later on, they're gonna get into it talking about they. And again, other people have mentioned this, and I agree. You're using different definitions. You're trying to be so vague to the point you don't know what you're talking about. Not knowing what you're talking about, meaning not necessarily you don't know you're using different days. Like for Tim, he's using they in a more culture war aspect, and like maybe even media, progressives, everyone that is not on the right type of thing, and not everyone who is prescribed to the right. When Kanye used they, like I can't even say it, like, because Elijah Shaver was even tippy-toeing, so I'm gonna tippy-toe. If he's tippy-toeing on his platform, I'm gonna tippy-toe. Like when Kanye says they, it is the they that has, you could say elites, you could say the people who have money, the people who, there's a lot of them in like media, you have to be like a vague they. You just look in the comments, people probably have mentioned it and everything, and so you're using different definitions, and it's just getting overly complicated. And so ultimately, we're gonna see him storm off and everything. But I think the ultimate crux here is, I think Kanye West was already in a defense mode here, right? And he did not understand what TIMCAST IRL is. To everyone's other point, like I can also say to a certain degree, like this is a different guess. Maybe, but the fact you should I think, yes, it's a different guess. Yes, it's Kanye West, but I think it would work to his benefit to format himself to the TIMCAST IRL format. To come across like, yes, I'm a billionaire, but yes, I can talk to y'all as normal people. I'm as normal as you are, right? All of him storming off is just him not being able to speak. He's been canceled everywhere else, and here you can speak, but you're not even taking advantage of it because you feel like everyone is up against you. And I think that's the ultimate shit right here. So we'll take a look real quick of him storming off, and any last words?
My pain away, right? The Jewish people say it's the Holocaust, this happened, and you can't say anything about it. We can't take their pain away. No one's gonna denounce the fact that they tried to lock me up. That's what, because every time I'm just holding stride, and it's like, I thought I was more Malcolm X, but I find out I'm more MLK, because as I'm getting hosed down every day by the press and financially, I'm just standing there. And when I found out that they tried to put me in jail, it was like a dog was biting my arm, and I almost shed a tear, almost. But I still walked in stride through it. Yeah.
I think they've been extremely unfair to you.
Who was they though? We can't say they is
corporate press. I'm not using I don't use the word as the way I guess you guys use. I'm talking.
It is
about
them though, isn't it? I mean, because because when you think about it, consider it. In 2018.
What do you mean it's not?
What do I mean? Like, okay, so how about you leaving?
Are you referring to the press?
He's on. I'll say it right now. You guys want to bring that stuff up? And then think we're not going to have a conversation?
Have the discussion.
Like you think Ye's going to come in here and say, here's my pain, here's my suffering, I'm going to say, I hear you. And then he's going to say, and it was Jewish people, and I'm going to be like, okay, but don't you consider, so I'm not going to do this, I refuse.
Make sure he's cool.
All right, go for it. Luke and I will have a conversation. So I can't say I'm surprised. What do I even do? Other than ask him, please elaborate on this. Are you referring to individuals, or are you quite literally blaming an entire group of people for the fact that powerful individuals are causing you harm?
Okay, so obviously the conversation goes on. Kanye doesn't come back. They like the trio leaves and everything, and then the rest of the show they're talking about what just happened and what did not happen. What did they want it to happen, right? As far as learning about the Trump dinner and everything, and going back in all of this again, I think there's just. He was Tim was trying to explain what do you mean and they, and so to Kanye that means Tim is not listening. But for Tim, and I agree with Tim in this instant, he just want to clarify, even if you don't want to specifically name certain people, name certain groups, say it out loud, you can dance around it and everything, because again, when Tim Pool is talking about the culture where we're using different words here. When we say they, it's usually quote unquote Democrats and everything, or it's even the woke ideology. It's all of this other stuff, and so it's just different words that are being used, and so all of this stuff is just a lot of egos, right? A lot of egos in the damn freaking room, doing their thing, right? And so it's all, like I said, it is unfortunate because one, this could have been a great moment for internet, right? Two, we could have learned more things as far as thinking about maybe the culture war, how things are planning out, things that we can do, even on as a content creator level, okay, we need to focus on this aspect, we can focus on this, and then just could have good conversations, because they, Tim was saying, before the pre-show, they're talking about religion, they're talking about philosophies, and just having a normal conversation, which I would like to hear. I would like to hear what Nick Fuentes, I want to hear Milo and Kanye about these philosophies and religion. I want to hear about Milo and his Catholicism. I want to hear Nick Fuentes and his Catholicism, right? And so there was a lot of discussion that was just a freaking missed opportunity. But I think the overall, and again, I said it before, I'm saying it again, when it comes to people like Elijah Schaefer, he was just mentioning yo, Tim kind of it's hard. Sometimes you do this on the fly. You're on the live, right? And so you don't know what's gonna happen. But he was more or less saying because it's Kanye, you need to treat him differently. But I subscribe to more of a Tim Pool sense where I don't care who you is. You could be Jesus. But I'm gonna do this conversation as a normal conversation. I'm not here to have you to be have a soapbox. He kind of did that with Milo just again, because Milo hasn't been in the news. But Kanye is directly in the news. He is running for freaking president. It is topical to talk about pushback. What do you mean on this? What is about this? What do you want to do this? And so it was just a hot mess. I was living for it until it was gone. And so it just really sucks, right? We could have had a really awesome moment, but honestly, I think Kanye was all over the place. Again, I think Kanye was dealing with a whole lot of shit, and he was on the defensive, and because he doesn't feel like he was being I think it's also this level of, once you get this level of whether it's elitism, money, celebrity, whatever, you expect people to be in awe. Oh my gosh, you're Kanye West. How do I... And Tim Pool, because he's that much of a narcissist as well, he's not going to treat you... Tim Pool's the type of person that doesn't wear a suit at the White House. He don't care about who he's talking to. So likewise, another matching ego, right? Kanye West. So do you know who you're talking to? And Tim Pool, I don't care who I'm talking to. Let's have a conversation. Oh gosh, this is... I'm just frustrated. Right, I'm just frustrated because we just lost a great opportunity here. In the culture war, right? We could have had a great discussion, learning about what we can do as not only Americans, and that not only as people, red pilled, whatever you want to call it, but have these solid conversations. And it overall is just really frustrating, right? And so, cool leading up to it, and then not. Look, so I'll just leave it there. I think I said it. I think I ranted enough. I think I said everything twice. And so thank you for watching. Comment below. Tell me what you think about this interaction. What should have happened? What would have happened who was at fault here? Maybe, you know, all that good stuff. Have a conversation and see you in the next video. Thank you for watching. You can follow me on my Instagram at HeyMitch. I'm also on Twitter Maverick Mitch, and see you in the next video. Thank you for watching. Peace, peace, peace. Be with you. E como espirito tuo.